Trust. It can make a relationship unbreakable, or it can tear it down with a quickness. And in this video, I will go over how each zodiac sign approaches trust in a relationship, and I will also go over the results of last week's poll question, sharing some featured comments, and make sure to check out the ending of this video where I give you a potential solution to any issues that may come up regarding trust if it starts to cause problems in your relationship. Okay, no more wasting time. Let's go. Okay, now Aries. In the beginning of a relationship, when it's new and they're excited about the potential, they aren't gonna just blindly trust somebody, but they're optimistic about it. So they'll be giving you the benefit of the doubt overall. But the moment you show them any sign of shady behavior or inconsistencies, they won't hesitate to revoke their trust card until further notice. So they don't come in paranoid and untrusting. They keep an open, optimistic, but discerning perspective. They will approach trust with the innocent until proven guilty angle. Now Taurus, we know that trust is one of the most important, if not the most important criteria for them in a relationship. So no matter how excited they are about you, they will for sure be on the lookout for any red flags or clues or any hint that you are not trustworthy. So be ready for a Taurus to be putting you through a few tests in order for them to put you into the "this person is trustworthy" compartment of their heart. Now once you're there, they give you the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise, and just know that if you do break that trust, it's game over, because even if you two try to work it out, you will hear about your wrongdoing for the remainder of the connection, and more than likely they will keep retesting you for reassurance. Now Geminis pretty much start off giving you the benefit of the doubt when it comes to trust. Now when you two are having conversations about life, they will love to debate and challenge you on your points, and they will even have fun proving you wrong at times or poking holes in your theory. But in terms of trusting you, they are the innocent until proven guilty types. They aren't paranoid, and if they have any doubts about something, they usually just straight up ask you, and if your answer checks out, then they're cool. Now if some of you out there say, well, I dated a Gemini and they were totally paranoid, remember, it's the blend of the chart. I'm expressing the Gemini energy here and what part the Gemini energy plays in that blend. A Gemini with Capricorn moon, for example, will be much different than a Gemini with Aquarius moon, but Gemini energy is pretty trusting until you give them reason not to be. Now when a Cancer is in a relationship, they want to trust you. They really truly do. So they start off with as much hope as they have love in their hearts. But the truth is, Cancers much of the time go with their instincts and their intuition. So if they see anything that even remotely resembles untrustworthy behavior, they are taking you to trial in their mind, and before you know it, you may have already been convicted and sentenced. The good news is, if you have a conversation with them and answer their questions without judging them for asking the question, and you just understand what they need in order to feel better about the situation, not only will they be more likely to trust you, but they will love you even more for understanding them and not judging them. So trust for them is not initially given. They withhold it in the hope that you will earn it, but once it's earned, they are happy to give it. But just know the earning part may prove to be too much for some people, but for those that can rise to the occasion, the rewards can for sure be worth it. Now Leos, well, you can rest assured that if a Leo doesn't think that they can trust you, they won't even entertain the idea of being in a relationship with you. Now that being said, they also aren't playing Inspector Gadget or making you jump through hoops to establish that they can trust you. They are confident in themselves, and that usually means that they're confident in their decisions and their instincts. So once they're in a relationship with you, they aren't too focused on trust. They feel like it's already there. But if you do break that trust, they aren't going to play the "now you have to earn my trust back" role either. Leos usually feel like they can upgrade anytime they want to. So when it comes to trust, it matters to them, of course. They give it, they expect it, so they pretty much are the innocent until proven guilty types as well, but just know if you break it, then you're out. Okay, Virgos. Now what I love about Virgos is they truly do just go on the facts. Now depending on whatever else is in their chart, they can be more emotional or less emotional, but overall, a Virgo will approach this like they approach everything else. Give them reasons to trust you, and they trust you. Give them reasons not to trust you, and yep, you got it, they're not gonna trust you. So they don't even say, I go into a relationship trusting until the trust is broken, and they won't go in skeptical. They go in saying, show me who you are with actions, not words, and I will believe what I see. And they're more than willing for you to set them up in the same scenario. Okay, Libras. Libras are the types that are similar to Virgos, where they basically allow you to show them who you are, and then they go with that as their baseline to establish trust. But the difference is they will still remain slightly on the fence about you. Not that they will be paranoid and not that they don't trust you, but they do always have a slight side eye thinking, are you really who you say you are? And they don't consistently test you like a Taurus might do, but just know with a Libra, the jury is pretty much always out on that decision. So look at it like this. They will give you the benefit of the doubt and behave accordingly until you show them otherwise, and they can love you completely and dearly and still leave room for that doubt, because Libras are realistic in the way where they know nothing in life, including people, are 100% anything. Okay, Scorpios, you all know before I even start talking that a Scorpio is capable of trust, but it isn't easy to come by, and you for sure will not receive it just out the gate. It needs to be based on something. They're almost like a combination of Virgo and Libra, where they do go by the facts that you give them in terms of whether or not your actions have shown to be trustworthy. And like Libra, even if they have shown to be trustworthy, it doesn't mean that they're sold on you 100%. The difference is they take it one step further than Libra. Where Libra leaves it at the jury's out and open, Scorpio keeps it at yes. Just know I'm watching you and I'm taking notes. And it doesn't mean that they're obsessed or that they're paranoid. It just means that they will give you freedom to be who you are. They're not trying to be your parent. They're not trying to have you under surveillance, but just know that they are very observant and they have extremely good intuition. So they will trust you, but it has to be earned and it has to be kept. And just know you might get a 99.9% if you're lucky, but 100% that is a big ask from a Scorpio. Now, Sagittarius. Now, one of the qualities that I really admire about a Sagittarius is they have extremely good judge of character. A Sagittarius can really size someone up in about 2.2 seconds when it comes to knowing if they're a good person, if they're a bad person, if they're an insecure person, if they're a confident person. They just naturally have that gift. So when it comes to trust, they trust their own judgment. And because of that, they really don't have a rule going into a relationship other than they feel very confident in their own choices. So if they have deemed you trustworthy, then they're not checking to make sure that they were right, because the truth is, if you show them in some way along the way that you're not trustworthy, a Sagittarius also has the gift of letting you go and watching you just burn into the wind and blow away with the ashes of the past. Okay, Capricorns. Now, Capricorns naturally will be open to you showing them who you are, but until they have decided that they have seen enough to make a clear and confident call on your trustworthiness, they will remain skeptically neutral. They are similar to Virgos where they go on the facts, but they're also similar to Scorpios where they tend to look deeper into situations for information that isn't so visible on the surface. So if you're going into a relationship with a Capricorn and you're expecting to just be trusted, you won't. You won't be deemed untrustworthy either. They will handle the situation on a case-by-case basis, and if you're the type that is forthcoming and open, then you will for sure get there with them. And the good news is, once you are in with a Capricorn, you're pretty much in for life, but also know once you are out with a Capricorn, well, that's for life too. Okay, Aquarius. Now, I really admire Aquarians in this area. They are very mature, they're open-minded, and they really do try to believe the best about people. And although they know, just like we all do, that human beings are flawed, they really do try to give you the benefit of the doubt. So they will be pretty trusting from the start, much more so than other signs in comparison, but just know this will be a lot less likely if they have Capricorn, Scorpio, or Virgo in their big three. So if you're thinking, I know an Aquarius and they don't trust anybody, look at their big three. But overall, an Aquarius is pretty trusting. Not gullible. I'm not saying that they're believing everything you say or do. It's just that they are open to the idea of allowing you the space to be you without putting their prejudgments or tests on you, expecting you to prove something to them. This also has to do with the fact that they don't naturally let people in, so they're not fearing that you're going to take advantage of them, and they know how to compartmentalize logic from emotion. So they don't test you or say that you have to earn their trust necessarily. They just say, let's treat each other the way we both deserve to be treated while maintaining a comfortable distance and dynamic. They are very savvy though, so if you are trying something shady, even if they're not calling you on it, just know they do know about it. They just calculate before they decide to act, and they weigh their options, and then they decide if it even matters to them. But overall, they pretty much start out giving you a reasonable benefit of the doubt until you show them otherwise. Now, Pisces. Pisces is another sign with good intuition, and they are smart in a logical sense, but they also read energy very well. So naturally, they go by a feeling or a vibe that they get from you. So they're not going to have just a rule that they follow when it comes to trust, like yes, they always trust until you give them reason not to, or no, they never trust until you earn it. They base it on their instincts in a similar way that Sagittarius does. It's just that their instincts have a more emotional influence to it. So they can get caught up sometimes if they really do like your personality and they want to believe the best about you. Then it becomes less about intuition and more about their emotional connection. But overall, they aren't paranoid, and they would just prefer to trust someone as opposed to not trust them, because it's stressful for them not to trust you, especially if they're in a relationship with you. So they come into a relationship wanting to believe you're trustworthy, but they are mature enough to know to pay close attention, and they will for sure ask you questions if they're not feeling sure about something that you're doing or saying or a vibe that you're giving off. And depending on the rest of their chart, you may get many more questions with one type of Pisces as opposed to another version of Pisces. But overall, they are pretty trusting. It's just they can allow fear to come into play play with their emotions at times, so they can struggle a bit with maintaining the trust. But if they're with someone who is reassuring and not judgmental of their questions, then they can be very trusting because they do really want to trust you and they want you to trust them. Now, as you all know, I do a weekly poll, and last week's poll question was, when it comes to trust in a romantic relationship, do you 1, start out trusting until they give you reason not to? Number 2, start out neutral and give trust when it is earned? Or number 3, never trust them 100% because everyone has a dark side? And at the time of taping this video, the results were 32% said start out trusting until they give you reason not to. Like a Nadris Journey, who said, I start out trusting for sure. Any other approach would make me lose too much energy for a potentially negative situation that might not even happen. I don't know if this is attitude or just luck, but I have always been right in trusting my partner. I've had just 2 romantic relationships in my life, one of 20 years and one of 3 years that is still going. None of those showed me I was wrong in trusting. Sun in Virgo, Moon in Cancer, Ascendant in Aries. And then there were the 56% of you who said start out neutral and give trust when it is earned. Like Talia, who said, I've changed from starting out trusting to starting out neutral. I've been burned before in a very bad way by being partnered with a narcissist who turned into the malignant type. And Guillermo Rogue, who said, used to trust until given a reason not to, but then discovered that bad people just need one chance to get you. No free chances now, trust is earned. And then of course, there was that 12% of you who voted never trust them 100% because everyone has a dark side. Like Zine, who said, I don't trust anyone, even my partner, until he passes my tests, like multiple times. I give tests twice a week, LOL, and even if he passes, I won't fully trust him 100%. Don't ask why, I just can't. And then she does punctuate that statement with the Scorpio symbol, so we may have a sneaking suspicion, Zine, as to why you might have taken that perspective. And there was also Teresa LaPlante, who took the same perspective, saying, to be honest, my biggest disappointment growing up in life is learning that you really can't trust anyone. Doesn't matter the sign, everyone has hurt somebody in some way at some point in their life. Hurt people hurt people. It's a sick, sad world out there, and I can't wait to go back to the moon in my next life. Sincerely, your biggest fan. I love watching your videos. Hashtag Cancer Sun, Sag Rising, Aquarius Moon. Teresa, please do not give up hope on humanity. This is exactly why I do these videos, to hopefully give everyone the necessary tools and perspective to be able to build trust and have loving, fulfilling relationships, even if they have been hurt in the past or if they've been the one to hurt someone else. People can change from their experiences and then they learn and grow and hopefully become better. You don't have to move back to the moon, Teresa. Trust that it's possible. And this is actually why I think more than half of you voted to start out neutral and give trust when it's earned. Here's the thing, love can be scary because you're taking a risk. You're making the choice to be vulnerable, and when you're vulnerable, yes, there is the possibility of getting hurt. But the truth is, whenever you care about something, the risk of getting hurt is going to be there. It's part of the balance of life. The question is the risk worth the reward? And having a loving, connected, exciting relationship can be very rewarding. But trust must be the foundation of the relationship, and it's so important to understand that because of things that have happened to people in their lives, they are going to define trust differently, and they're going to require different steps to be taken to arrive at a place where they can trust with confidence and security. So loving someone means being open to hearing what it is that they need and not judging them for needing it, and doing your best to meet those needs while making sure that they're willing to do the same for you. That is how a strong foundation of trust is built. Trust is not built by expecting someone to know what you need and then judging them for not being able to read your mind or for not naturally already knowing what you've deemed to be common sense. When we know everyone has had many different experiences, and because of that, they have different perspectives. Now, in building trust, there will be those scenarios where there is someone who, the moment you provide them with what it is that they're asking for in order to feel trust, they follow that up shortly after with a new request, and then another, and then another, and then the cycle continues and continues, and no matter how much you deliver, they seem to never be satisfied. And in that scenario, you have to realize that it is unhealthy because that person is at a place in their life where they haven't themselves realized that they may have a serious issue with trust. It is natural to have doubts at times in a relationship, and in those moments, the person with the doubt asks themselves, what specific action can the other person take, and what agreement can we make together so that way I feel better about the situation situation in order to bring resolution and the feeling of trust back into the relationship. Then that person communicates that request, and when the other person honors that request with compassion and without judgment, and they honor the agreement that the two people have made, then you're both off to the land of love and trust and happiness. And that land does exist, but trust is something like everything else that does require consistent work and effective communication. And it's not always going to be easy, and relationships have ups and downs. But whenever there is a problem, there is always a solution if the love is there and both people are willing to put in the effort. That's not only the recipe to build trust, but it's also the recipe to build a long-lasting love. Okay, there you have it, how each sign of the zodiac approaches the topic of trust in a romantic relationship. Thank you guys so much for weighing in on this topic and sharing your thoughts. Make sure that you weigh in on this week's question. I post them every Monday morning. And remember, I am a firm believer that you can be with anyone if you're in love and both of you are committed to growing together, having great communication, and always doing your part to stay connected. You know what I always say, love. That's all, and that's enough. I hope you all enjoyed the information. If you did, don't forget the baby tap. Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with me. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video.